Welcome to Miss Martin Muses. Welcome to Miss Martin Muses, where we muse upon what makes me laugh, makes me cry, makes me happy, makes me sad, or just really ticks me off. Well, today we're talking about what makes me very, very happy. It is the return of the king. It is the return of the king. And welcome everyone coming in and everyone that's going to be watching this on the replay. We have our panelists. The lovely, the brilliant, the elf herself, Lady Toriel.
Hello. Is that
Yay!
working any better?
It's working better. Yay, she has sound. We were having some sound issues. Excellent. Welcome, Lady Toriel.
Well, good morning.
Okay, and then we also have Princess Rennie.
Good morning, Teresa, Toriel, and Stieg. Very nice to be here. Very excited to talk about this subject. Woo woo.
Well, I was excited about these chapters. I love them. And all the way from Norway, from the future, it is none other than Stieg Kenobi.
Hi.
Hi.
The future is bleak. Everything just went to hell. So spend all your money on alcohol, and yeah.
Okay. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But do it after the stream. Spend it all on alcohol and something that rhymes with mugs and all sorts of other stuff.
Oh, you mean drugs?
She was trying to be nonchalant.
Oh, my bad. I thought she misspoke.
Oh my God.
Well, thank you. I always like your reports from the future. We do appreciate your reports from the future. This tip, well, hopefully by the end of this stream, everything will have sorted itself out. And hello, everyone in the chat. We have Jacob Ironside. Hello. We had Gadfly Fiction. Always great to see you. We have Snow to Poopus Quibur. We love our animals here on Miss Martin Muses. We had the Free Folk of Fandom. Hello. All the way from the Emerald Isle, we have Shane Nolan. Everyone's saying hi. I think I got to everyone. If I did not, I apologize. Sometimes the way my computer works, it's can't go back up too far. Everyone is saying hello. We love our chat here at Miss Martin Muses, and we love Return of the King. Last time we stopped off with chapter 2, and we are now returning to Mary and the Muster of Rohan, chapter 3. Now, what's going on in this chapter, you see Mary checking out all of the troops at Rohan. At
Dunharrow?
Thank you, Dunharrow. Yes. And it's like there's thousands of them. And Mary, he's kind of our eyes as he's seeing really truly how majestic the people of Rohan are when they all gather together. I really enjoyed that part of it. And then also we see some Eowyn and some good interactions. So I'm thinking, Steve Kenobi, we're going to start with you today. This is our last chapter before the really big battle and the big reveal or non-reveal of Eowyn is going to decide to ride with Mary. What kind of thoughts do you have on this?
Well, I'm currently rereading the books and I haven't gotten that far.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. But I do remember Mary and Theoden getting along quite well.
Yes.
Which kind of mirrors Denethor and Pippin.
Yes.
Because Denethor actually liked Pippin as well. So even it's almost like even the most selfish, damaged people will like innocent hobbits. So maybe there's some good left in them, right?
Oh,
not the case with Theoden though, because he's nice anyway. But
good point.
Maybe the hobbits are good for morale.
Oh, yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Says he who didn't know what to say. There's a really cute part in this where Eowyn takes Mary aside and has some armor made up for him. I thought that was adorable.
So cute.
Yeah. Now, Lady Toriel, anything you want to say about the relationship of Mary with Theoden and Eowyn in these chapters?
It's very interesting in the part about Pippin getting his armor. I think it finally really struck home with him that he was part of the troops now, even though people were kind of shunning him. And I thought that was really great. And now it's finally hitting home that he may have to fight.
Oh, are you talking about Pippin or Mary? You said Pippin?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, Pippin too, yes. That's the next chapter. But that's okay. We love Pippin as well. Yeah. Well, and in the case of Mary, he's actually he's a mirror to Eowyn at this point, because even his lines, he's sitting here, Rennie, he's going, I won't be left behind to be called for on return. I won't be left. I won't. He was repeating over and over again. And he's like, they're going to sing songs about the people that are fighting, but they're not going to sing songs about me who's left behind, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know what.
You feel bad for him because, like, at first, like, everybody accepts him and he seems like he's part of the team and all that. And then whenever it comes time to ride off to war, it's like, no, you're just a little hobbit. You're no use to us, kind of thing. And, you feel bad for him because he's like, well, but I do have something to offer and nobody sees it. And why can't I, have the chance to fight for the ones that I care about? Why is it just men? Why? I know that I'm small, but I can still make, a difference if I try. And, your heart just really goes out to him because he wants to be there. And, first, whenever they leave the Shire, yeah, that's not what Mary's lot in life seems like it's going to be. It's just going to be to cause mischief and craziness with his cousin. But, once he leaves the Shire, he gets to see the world and, he gets to try new things and see different cultures. And he wants to help his friends. He knows that, Sam and Frodo are possibly going to their deaths. He knows that, the other part of the fellowship that broke off are, doing different things to help with the war. And he wants to have some sort of purpose, and to deny him not just really hurt,
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand that.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And of course, word for word, it mirrors what Eowyn was going through.
Yeah, because she felt like she didn't have any purpose either. Oh, I'm just going to be a castle maiden and just watch over the castle or the structures and, make sure that all the gardens are tilled and everything's clean. And, I can do more than this. So, yeah, I understand that.
Yeah. And the mirroring is almost made explicit because Theoden tells Mary, I release you from my service, but not from my friendship. You shall abide here. You shall serve the Lady Eowyn, who will govern the folk in my stead. So he's literally putting him into the same category as Eowyn.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that line.
Which is, if you think about it, given what they're gonna fight, you can understand why Theoden wouldn't want Merry and Eowyn to be in the thick of it, because there's a chance they might lose, and if they lose, Theoden and Eomer and whoever else are dead, leaving
no one.
Eowyn. If he leaves her behind, at least she has a chance, right?
That's a good point of view. Mm-hmm. But like, I don't know. I've always seen it like this. You're about to fight the ultimate evil. Don't you want all hands on deck?
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. Well, but also having Eowyn in charge at home or leaving someone at home, that's also for like the women and the children.
Yeah.
So that they might have a fighting chance.
Yeah, and it could be that he wants to preserve her, but because she might be that good in the kitchen.
Oh dear.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Lady Toriel. What do you how can you follow that up? But I think you can.
Well, he also looks from the other side. He's looking at it like this is a great honor. Not many women rule a whole country, and he's leaving her in charge because he trusts her and he knows that she's wise and that she has been looking after the kingdom while he was the way he was. And she doesn't see it from that point of view. She sees it as getting left behind, but he's also looking at someone that he knows he can leave it if they should not come back.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes,
And
exactly.
she doesn't see it from that point of view. She sees it as being just left behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're holding me back and leaving me behind.
Yeah. And as Mary is too, because they see him as a child, or even
A
though he's
liability.
yeah. The good point, Sailbot or Sal, oh yeah, it is Sail Cybot 1552. Yeah, Mary is very brave, but hobbits are literally not built for riding those huge horses. Yeah, that's true.
and
True.
if you're in a close combat battle and you have a hobbit against an orc with a big sword, even the orc's reach is a huge advantage. Mary will have to get really close just to get a stab in, right? So it's not practical for a hobbit to be a close combat warrior, is it?
No.
No, but people forget, like, it's,
I,
the short or the smaller people that can, like, maneuver and slide under things and get you where you can't reach because, maybe it hurts for you to bend too much because you're too tall,
That sounds so dirty.
Oh, I am
yeah,
short.
he can take he can take him off at the knees and other places if you reach up. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I
Well,
will cut your. Never mind.
Yeah. Well, though that does bring up a good point. Not just the fact that it would waste a horse that could go to a good rider, but it could also be a death sentence. Bringing a little guy like that into a big battle, he's like, I'm not going to let this dude come. He's going to get his butt killed. I mean, he's going to die.
Yeah, and there's no way a hobbit can use a lance, right, or a spear.
Yeah, that he would get trampled.
Yeah, because the lance is probably bigger than them, anyways.
Yeah, way bigger.
Yeah.
Probably bigger than Eowyn.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, and they even say of Eowyn when they don't. Mary doesn't realize it's really Eowyn underneath there. Thinks it's a dude. It's like, dang, that's a small soldier. That's a small rider.
I know. When you guys read it, did you realize that was her, or did you think, like, who is this guy?
Oh, I knew it pretty quickly because they practically throw the hints on you. Especially that, hey, that person's really, really small to be a writer, but oh well. And they even have it that Eowyn's sitting there listening in to all of their conversation. She's all, as he's saying the exact same things that she's saying. Yeah, but I don't know. It's hard to remember. I remember not being very surprised. On the other hand, Destiny is kind of playing a role here because we know that this is perhaps not the smartest thing on earth. We can completely side with Theoden, but if Eowyn didn't make the decision that she made to dress up like a dude, and if she didn't make the decision to go ahead and pick up Mary, then the Witch King would not have been defeated, and they would have lost the battle. So,
they make it very clear: no man can kill him.
They might have still won the battle.
Maybe.
Because, the Witch King has lost once before, I think. And he got away.
But instead of, like, defeating him or killing him, he would have gone away into the shadows and come back again once he's strong.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, good point. But on the other hand, maybe not. Or maybe more people would have been killed. whatever. I mean, it is. I think this is where when I say whatever. That's the wrong expression. I'm thinking destiny was playing such a role, and it almost makes you wonder about predestination in these stories. Do you think that's what they were going with?
Well, the Silmarillion was released later, so it's not like it was foreshadowing for the book when it came out. But Glorfindel kind of predicts this, saying that he's the one who comes up with that prophecy that no man will kill him, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, Shane. I think Mary's Numenor sword from Fellowship is what killed him. Yes, partly. I mean, they kind of did it together. He stabbed the king, and then Mary. Mary, and then Eowyn did it too.
No. And it still counts because Mary is no man; he's a hobbit.
Exactly.
Oh,
That's true.
Dun dun dun. Good point. Well, there we are, and I'm excited about getting to those chapters. Now, they're Lady Galadriel, Lady Toriel. There was a part here before Mary and all them take off when the rider comes from Gondor and brings the red arrow, which is the call for the people of Rohan to come and help Gondor. And Theoden, he really responds very favorably. In the movies, they had a lot of him hemming and hawing and saying, "Oh, Gondor didn't like us" and all this. But the red arrow comes, and he's just like, boom. Yeah, I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how you saw that, the way it played out.
Well, they he doesn't have much faith in anyone except their own anymore. So for that to happen was, I think, a very big shock for him. You know, they felt like they were all on their own all the time. You know, what have they done for us? Why? And everything. So from that point of view, that was a big wake up call.
Okay. Oh, the way they played it, especially in the movie when they were isolated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, but it actually wasn't in the movie. It wasn't a beacon. It was rather this red arrow thing. I think that it would have been less dramatic. And
Yeah.
The beacon thing was kind of it felt a bit off in the movie because if you look at some of the beacons, they're high up in the mountains. So
yeah, it's like you have like one person that lives there.
Do you have a guy living there with a matchbox? Just in case. So someone had to be close by.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my assumption, is like they just have like one or two people that are isolated in the mountaintops. I'm like, oh no, that's not the life for me.
Yeah. It's like a family that hands down the matchbox through generations. Maybe you will be the one to finally light the thing.
Yeah, Jacob Ironside to say the same. The red arrow makes more sense than lighting beacon fires on the tip top of mountains. The poor people who have to stay out there.
They used beacons like that in my area though, back in the Viking days, because there are beacons like that around.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, and if I'm correct, Stieg, that would be like the person's life goal, wouldn't it?
Imagine though you only have a couple of matches and you finally get to light the beacon and then the match snaps.
Oh my god. Doesn't light.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Uh,
after 50 generations, the one who finally gets to light the beacons fails.
and then you're known for all
Uh,
history. Yeah, it's definitely more reliable to send a red arrow. So I'm trying to imagine how it wouldn't have been as dramatic. Imagine all the big music and you just see this horse and then he just shows up and goes, a red arrow. Here it is.
Yeah, and an arrow lands in front of someone who's colorblind.
Oh
Just goes, oh, look, it's an arrow.
What the hell is
And
this supposed to mean?
Yeah.
just leaves the arrow, just shrugs and leaves.
Yeah. Well, and then Theoden, he's saying something of the effect that, but say to Denethor that even if Rohan itself felt no peril, still we would come to his aid. So I think in contrast to the movie where he seemed to be a little bit like, well, screw Gondor, they don't do this. He's like, no, we'll still come to your aid even if it's not for our good. That there still seems to be a little more friendship between the two, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
But you know what though?
Hmm.
It is true that Gondor did nothing to help Rohan.
Oh yeah.
Not a damn thing. When they absolutely needed help. But you can understand Theoden though, because it's like if you ask a neighbor for help, or you keep helping your neighbor, and then that neighbor can't be bothered when you really need help when it's your turn. You won't want to help him later on, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I can understand that, but I think it says also a lot about his character that Theoden is like, still we're gonna come.
Yeah.
He didn't say, well, fudge you. He said, but be warned, we've suffered a lot and we were not going to be able to get there for a week. And they're like, well, dudes, by that time, we may all be in ruins. But Theoden's like, well, we're still coming anyways.
Well, I think they forget too. It's Gondor has Mordor at their footsteps, and they're constantly under attack by Sauron's orcs.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have time to go help anybody else because they're too busy defending their own borders.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mordor is right across the field.
Yeah.
And I think around the time when Helm's Deep happens, that's also when Gondor loses Osgiliath.
Yes, I think they're supposed to happen at
Yes.
the same time.
Yes. Yeah. So time is a little bit linear. So it's not like they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs and going, screw you, Rohan.
We can't be bothered with your issues right now. No.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. It does work in the book, but yeah, maybe not so much in the movie. And Salboat said, am I pronouncing that right? Saibot 1552, Mordor and Harad both, plus Umbar, so surrounded. Yeah, they're all fucked. They're really digging in to the whole idea that they're fudged.
Yeah.
Because they're also saying, yeah, by the way, well, guess what? Aragorn, our great hope for the return of the king, has gone off to the paths of the dead. They're all and I love the way Aemir and all them. They're like, okay, well, that's it for Aragorn then.
Yep. Hope is lost.
But they still go on. Okay,
You-
so this
you-
good.
Do you know where the paths of the dead end?
No.
At a dead end.
Oh, I knew it. I knew it was coming. I knew there was.
I was like, oh no.
All right. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff right here. So I think they're doing a good job of their setting up what's going to be happening in the next few chapters. And speaking of the next few chapters, we're going to go on to the siege of Gondor. And I'm going to just briefly, after I get the scroll up here at Miss Martin Muses, we are still using primitive tactics. Just a brief summary. They're reminding us that back in Minas Tirith, Pippin receives his new uniform and gear as a member of the Tower Guard. He spends a long day serving Lord Denethor, Gandalf, and the captains of the West. Pippin chats with Beregond at the outer wall of the citadel amid heavy darkness and stagnant air. Suddenly, they hear the terrifying shriek of a black rider. And they can also see 5 dark Nazgul swooping over a small, rapidly approaching group of hot men on horseback. Or at least one of them's hot. The leader of the horsemen sounds his horn, and Beregond recognizes the trumpet call of Faramir. And then the men thrown from their terrified horses run for the city gate on foot. Just as a Nazgul descends on Faramir, Pippin sees what happens to be a brilliant white star in the north. It is Gandalf on his horse Shadowfax. Gandalf raises his hand and sends a shaft of light shooting upward into one of the Nazgul, and the Nazgul flies away like a little.
His shaft shooting up. Like a Nazgul.
Shot by the shaft of Gandalf.
Yeah, and Gandalf returns to the city with hot Faramir slumped in the saddle.
It's like, I'll send it into the abyss.
Yes. So I'm going to break up the little summary here. So let's just talk about this now. Lady Toriel, you were mentioning how you felt about Pippin getting the armor and officially becoming a member of the Tower Guard.
Yeah, he was. I don't think it really hit home until that happened, and I actually like how they did it in the movie compared to the book, where it was Thalen's outfit, and when he was young, and they gave it to him, and it fit. And they had that little conversation.
Oh, are you talking about Faramir?
I mean Faramir, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How dare you, woman? How dare you? Oh gosh. How can you
that one stung her deep.
Sorry.
Old man, hot man. Okay, go ahead.
But I thought I liked how they did that in the movie, and to give them that little bit of time together. And then Pippin realizes, he was just so kind and nice. And it made Pippin even more proud of what he was wearing.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I loved it. Yeah. Good deal. Well, he actually becomes a member of the Tower Guards, like as he said.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, gosh. Cybot 1552, his potent throbbing shaft of... Wait, what? Okay. You're talking about Gandalf. I was thinking you were talking about Faramir. My fault. Okay. No, those are great. Those are great points, Lady Toriel. And I just love the way that Pippin just gets to shine in this chapter, the same way Mary does in the other ones as well. I think it's good stuff.
Yeah, it's amazing for such little people that they cast great big shadows. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that.
And gosh, I get always creeped out every time those black riders show up. And, because when they hear those shrieks, it helps that the movie did a really good job making them really scary. But as someone said, I forget where it was. Here it is. I found it. A relatively rare public display of magic by Gandalf, says Snortopupus Cuber. Yes. What's going on with that? Like, sometimes I wonder why, Rennie, when I'm reading these, why does Gandalf use his magic in moments like this, but not in other places?
Yeah,
It's probably symbolic. It's light against darkness.
Oh, that's a good point, Steve. Yeah, I've always wondered that because there are a lot of times when they get in a little bit of a pinch. If Gandalf, used, his full potential, it's like, oh, well, they would have gotten out of that easily. But he doesn't. I don't know if it's to show restraint for the whole absolute power corrupts absolutely, or if it's to allow like everyone else a chance to, show their honor. But
Also,
you wonder.
also it shows Gandalf using different magic, because in the Fellowship of the Ring, the Hobbit sees all kinds of lightning and stuff at Weathertop from a distance,
Mhm.
and it's Gandalf's fighting the ring wraiths.
Yeah, and I
So
like
it's
that you brought
it's
that up.
lightning and classic magic, basically, But then now he's using white light, and he's become Gandalf the White. So maybe he has different powers now.
Oh.
Ooh, that could be. Yeah.
Yeah, since he was reawakened. I agree.
Mhm.
Oh, that's a very good point. So maybe he's allowed.
After he got woke, he white knighted.
Oh no.
Oh. Well done. Okay. Yeah, and I did see your question, Sailbot 1552. Actually, let's go ahead and go to that before we go on to the next portion of this chapter. He wants a question for everyone: who is the coolest general aesthetic? And he's talking about the appearance, Gondor or Rohan.
I vote for Rohan because I don't like the Gondor helmets.
Oh, what don't you like about him?
They look stupid.
Oh,
I mean, I kind of agree with that, but they look better than the ones in the Rankin Bass movies where they have like the wings spread and they actually have like this giant looking bird on them, which is really weird because they're supposed to have like raven wings on their helmets. And but I actually like the aesthetic of like Minas Tirith. I think it looks way cooler than Helm's Deep, so I'm gonna have to vote Gondor.
Oh, I thought he meant the armors.
Oh,
Yeah.
still go with Gondor. They wear
He
silver.
he said general, so I was thinking
Oh.
army.
Oh no! I think
Yeah.
I was
no. I
thinking
think he
in
was saying that.
general.
I think he was talking about. Where he says the appearance. I think it was because a lot of people are saying yes, they are cool. The Rohan Selbot says yes, I love the Rohan look though. The cold white steel silver of Gondor also works really well against the more warm gold and greens of
Well,
Rohan.
the Rohan is based on on Viking looks, so I have to through loyalty to my country stand by Rohan.
Because he's proud to be a Viking, where at least they have.
You're
aesthetics.
supposed to be proud of your country and your heritage.
Oh,
True.
It's
Sure.
yeah.
no, I am not arguing with you at all. Well, I would actually say, except when Faramir's wearing the armor, I agree that the Rohan look, it's a little more natural. It's a little more rustic, a little less
Flashy.
metrosexual. If you know what I mean. What did you say? Fashionable, Stieg, or what'd you say?
No, well, basically what you're saying is that the Gondor thing is a bit of a pansy thing.
I was a little more sophisticated, but yeah. Oh my. Cybot 1552 says, "Same here, Steek. I am a Swede, so I ought to vote Rohan as well." But oh well.
No comments about Swedes.
All Swedes are welcome at Miss Martin Muses. We welcome all Swedes.
Do you know how you sink a Swedish submarine? You dive down and knock on the door.
Oh my God.
Oh dear.
Okay. The views or comments of anyone made on Miss Martin Muses do not necessarily reflect those of the host. Yeah. I don't know. Lady Toriel, do you have a preference?
Yeah, I like Rohan better. I'm sorry. I have to go with that. It's more maybe not savage looking, but more intimidating.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The part of the the Gondor stuff that I like, especially the way they showed it in the movie, is the white tree that they have on it. I always think that that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
Oh,
like
and
that.
everybody is just a comedian. What's long, hard, and full of seamen? SEAMEN, a submarine. And Snortopoopas Cooper says, and thus the Great Scandinavian War of 2022. Yeah. Okay, and Rennie, did you get your 2 cents in?
Yeah.
I was being distracted by the chat. I'm trying to keep track of this.
No, you're totally fine. Yeah, I gave my 2 cents. I prefer like the clean, pretty silver white look. That's just me. I really like what they did in making Gondor look uniform, whether it was like with the way that everyone, dressed for battle, or, the way that, their buildings looked, the way that their people interacted as a whole. I don't know, but I do prefer the pretty silver.
Oh yeah. Oh well, everyone loves pretty silver. Oh, the Swan Knight. Shane Nolan says the Swan Knights are pretty cool. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Gary Beekler for Gandalf, says Keely Chow. I'm not sure I get that. I feel like I should know.
I think it was a thing back in the day. Gary Beekler, the Nerdrotic guy, people used to say he looks a lot like Gandalf the Grey.
Oh, I didn't know that was his last name.
Mhm.
Oops. Oh, is it well known? Because we
Yeah.
don't dox here at Miss Martin.
No,
Muses.
he calls
Okay.
himself by his first and last name on his streams, or at least he used to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm like,
so no
who the
worries.
hell
Okay.
is this? Okay, because I know who Gary is, and I know who not. Okay, well there you go. Well, it's all Keely's fault. So no, I think that he's far beyond that now that he's pretty mainstream and stuff. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't hide his name. And if you knew it, then that's cool. Shane Nolan says the leather work on Rohan armor was cool. Red for Eamor and green for Theoden. Oh, yeah. This makes me want to watch it again.
I know, right?
You know,
I'm like, I gotta watch these.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Like somebody clips it. Look what Miss Martin Muses is doing. And it's like, it's not me. I'm a good girl. I'm a
wasn't
good girl,
me.
I am. No, we're all good. Yeah. Keely Chow, you're actually correct. He does look very Gandalfy. All right, let's continue with the summary here. It says Faramir, the brilliant and the sexy and the hot, is escorted into Denethor's chambers, where he is shocked to see Pippin. Gandalf, because he looks like a hobbit. And then Gandalf erupts when he learns from Faramir that Frodo and Sam are heading to Mordor by way of Cirith Ungol. Faramir notes that he bid farewell to the hobbits only 2 days ago. They could not have reached Cirith Ungol yet. If the men surmise that Sauron's new movement on Gondor is not related to Frodo's approach to Mordor. And then this is where we all get our hearts broken. Denethor upbraids Faramir for showing cowardice in defending the outposts. He doesn't show cowardice. How dare you? The
Well,
steward
it did run away.
Well, because they were overrun with orcs. I mean, what are you going to do? Just
Yeah.
keep like letting your men die for nothing? Might as well save what you can and, you know, go
Bravely
back to the
bold Sir
castle.
Faramir ran away.
Oh, he's not like Sir Robin, sir.
And then Denethor upbraids Faramir for showing cowardice in defending the outpost. The steward bitterly remarks that Boromir, his other son, would have brought him a mighty gift, meaning the ring. Gandalf points out that Boromir would have kept the gift for himself. The two men argue, and Pippin again senses the strain between them, you think? Denethor opposes sending the ring with a hobbit into the hands of Sauron, believing that he himself should have been given the ring for safekeeping. I added the
Which
quote.
some of that conversation got reworked and used between Sam and Faramir.
Yes. In the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they switched some of that around. Well, because I think they were trying to give Sam and all them something to do in their stupid Two Towers version of it. That's the only part of Two Towers I thought that was just ridiculous.
Kind of out of place. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the gathering disperses. Pippin asks Gandalf why, as Faramir has indicated, Frodo and Sam are traveling with Gollum. Gandalf fears Gollum's treachery, but notes that perhaps some good may yet come of his actions. So, damn. Oh my gosh, Luffy as God says, you stay and die, Faramir the coward.
I mean, basically, that's the choice that Denethor gave him. You know, I mean, if they're overrun with orcs, you're just gonna stay there and fight like a hopeless fight and just let you and your men die when you could be doing, you know, better things in bigger groups. You know, I just don't understand Denethor's mentality. He had this weird warped sense like Boromir was ultimate and he could do everything and he could defeat everyone. And I just think that he had a very warped sense of reality.
Well, it's the Palantir that does it though.
Yeah,
Because
Mm-hmm.
Saruman or
he's
Sauron.
probably had lots of visions, I guess, about you know Gondor falling. So he's pretty much just sitting there waiting for it to crash and burn. 'Cause
Well,
that's what he thinks is going to happen.
the Palantir also, um, they he uses it to warp their minds and show them exactly, um,
Kind of what'll weaken them.
yeah, but what he wants to see and what he chooses to see, because he always chose Boromir,
Yeah.
and so he's weakening everything for Theoden. You know, it's like, well, if Boromir was here, this would happen, and with Faramir, this he's using it as a wedge at the Palantir, and he knows your weaknesses and he uses it against you, and it magnifies it.
Yeah, I like your point of view on that. I feel like he could use the Palantir to kind of read into your mind and know your fears or know how to work someone or how to manipulate them. So, yeah, absolutely.
Well, and the dialogue that they have, this is where it gets really harsh. Where Faramir first asks, "Do you wish then that our places had been exchanged?" And he says, "Yes, I wish that indeed." About Boromir, because he said, it was your part to protect now that Boromir is gone. Do you wish then that our place had been exchanged? Says, I wish that indeed. Can you imagine a dad saying that to you?
That's an awful thing to say to a child. It doesn't matter how old or young the child is.
Yeah.
Telling your kid you wish they were dead. That's awful.
Yeah, and he says, "For Boromir was loyal to me and no wizard's pupil." That's where Denethor is almost not beyond redemption, but that's just showing it's like this dude's a dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember in the movie when they said the line almost exactly the same, people like gasped. They just couldn't believe it.
Well, and I will say that's like major props to the actors that played Boromir and Faramir, because like you could see the hurt in Faramir's face. You could see him breaking as Denethor said that, and you know, Denethor just being so cold and like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you could feel it. It was awful.
Yeah.
Well, and there's a line from some detective show I was watching recently with my parents, and the guy said, "Why is it that our parents can push our buttons so easily?" And he said, "The answer to that is because they're the ones that put the buttons in the first place."
Ooh.
I mean, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
we talk about family dynamics here. I mean, and also forgetting that, oh my gosh, Faramir lost a brother who you can tell that they truly loved each other too. They had a filial love for each other. They were brothers in arms and brothers indeed, and they did a great job showing that also on the screen by adding that scene in the Two Towers.
Yes. I loved their interactions. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because you didn't get that with the original theatrical releases. They don't really show you them interacting. And when you get to actually see it, it's like, oh, see, he did love his brother.
Yeah. Yeah. And Faramir says, "Alas for my brother, whom I too loved." Ah! Oh, poor Faramir. He needs a hug.
Well, I think that.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Metchy says, unless you say no offense first. Like, you're a good kid.
True.
Yeah, that's one of those,
So true.
when you say no offense and you say something like that, it's, yeah, that doesn't work. I'm sorry, Lady Toriel.
No, that's okay. I'm sorry I interrupted you. They were close because their father was crazy. So I think they depended on each other a whole lot more, and their relationship was closer than a lot of people knew, even the father. Even though Faramir knew that he preferred Boromir over himself, he still loved his brother, and they depended on each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Which often happens. And they were both loyal sons of Gondor. And served in the best ways. And Faramir also says, hey, man, maybe you forget Boromir was in charge at Ithilien, and he also had to retreat, or so, he says something to the effect on that. So it's kind of like he's sitting there bitching at Faramir over stuff that he didn't bitch at Boromir over.
He just did it because it was Faramir. It's like, oh, this went wrong? It's because Faramir was there.
Fault, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And also in the book, Gandalf was saying, I think it was Gandalf, that you're the one who sent Boromir instead of Faramir to the council. If you'd sent Faramir, Boromir would still be here, but it's your decision.
Oh, yes, that's what he said, yeah, because it was originally he was supposed to have been there, and it was his fault that he wasn't, and what got him killed. Yeah, that's actually kind of harsh on Faramir, almost. Maybe.
Well, no, he was talking to Theoden, and what he said about his decisions affected who lived and died. When he was talking to Faramir about, yeah, I wish it was you, and then Gandalf came back with, it was you who sent Boromir instead of Faramir, and this was the chain reaction that happened. It had nothing in, don't blame Faramir for this. This is your decision.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I believe that Gandalf did, but Faramir actually does, though, jump in. He said, for a moment, Faramir's restraint gave way. I would ask you, Father, remember why it was that I, not he, was in Ithilien.
Mm-hmm.
On one occasion, at least, your counsel has prevailed not long ago. It was the Lord of the city that gave the errand to him. And then Denethor's like, stir not the bitterness in the cup I have mixed for myself.
Yeah. Yeah. See, it's like, okay, this wasn't me. This was you and your decision that you made.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. A family fight. On the other hand, maybe he had it coming because, for crying out loud, he just said he wished that he was dead. I think that's when the gloves come off.
I mean, yeah, for real.
It's like, you want me to spare your feelings? Well, don't wish I'm dead then. And he said, for a moment, Faramir's restraint gave way. Okay, and because I love him more than life itself, I do focus on him. The fact that Faramir, he's a human. I mean, he's not perfect, even though I joke he is. Yeah, he can lose his temper. He can lose his crap, even though he's a little more, not as hot-headed, perhaps, maybe, as his brother. But yeah, he's a human. He can lose his shit, and he did. Though he lost it in a very elegant way, but then brings it back. And then they even say, he's like, hey, man, I'm tired. I just got the shadow all over me. And his dad's like, yeah, you're weary, I see. Says, tomorrow need will be sterner. Go now and rest as you may. I don't know. But yeah, Gandalf and Denethor also go at it as well. And I think that's also why Denethor, he keeps going, oh, you're the wizard's pupil. Oh, you like him better than me. You always want to sit around and study. Almost maybe some jealousy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, it's like, well, dude, if you're always going to sit around and be such a dick, well, then maybe he will hang around with a guy that's kind of nice to him as a mentor.
Yeah, I mean, Denethor is always such a Debbie Downer, and I know it's because Sauron poisons his mind with the Palantir, but I mean, nobody wants to hang out with someone like that. It's like, oh, yes, we get it. Everything sucks.
Denethor also lost his wife, who looked, Faramir looks more like the mom than the dad.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about that.
Oh, yeah.
Good point. So every time he looks at Faramir, he remembers the wife that he has lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aw. Poor guy. He needs a hug. No, I know for a while, they even mentioned this in the extended edition comments. There was a fanficky idea that the wife had died in childbirth. A lot of people had said that, and maybe that's why Boromir hated Faramir so much. But in the books, it's clear that she didn't die till he was several years old or something. So, but definitely that connection to the mother as well. I mean, Denethor's lost everything, and he's about ready to lose his city. He's about ready to die and see everything he has spent his whole life, his whole people caring for die. And with the Palantir and all that screwing with his mind, as you've all been saying, it's a very, very bad combination. But
Yeah.
oh my gosh, can you imagine like a Dr. Phil episode, like trying to mediate this whole conversation?
Oh my gosh, in his like Dallas like twang. So Denethor, why do you really think you resent Faramir? I just can't.
Yeah, it's like, I heard that Faramir, he looks like your mother. Now, could that really be what's going on?
Exactly.
And Denethor, did you just hear what you just said? You just said you wish that their places had been reversed, that you wish your son was dead. Now, how's he supposed to come back to that?
I can
What's he
picture the
supposed
look
to
on his
say?
face. Oh my gosh.
Do you want to be, Shane says, do you want to be happy or do you want to be right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And Cyborg Cinema says, that's one thing I love about the way Tolkien draws characters. Nothing, even a father's bitterness, happens without a reason rooted in the character and their history. Oh, yeah, true. Good point. Good point. Welcome, OBG770. Just jumped on, drinking a gallon of coffee and listening. Oh, okay. I am drinking a pot of tea. But really richly drawn out characters. And there's I think they have a little more discussion. Oh yeah, Pippin and Gandalf, because this is the first I think that they've heard of what's their faces, Frodo and Sam. So they wanted to talk about that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice little surprise. It's like, wait, you just saw Frodo and Sam 2 days ago? What's going on? What's going on with them?
Yeah.
How are they doing?
It's
so
like,
that was nice.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, they're taking them to this, place of doom, and
yeah, they're gonna go meet Shelob, but they'll be fine,
yeah,
because Gandalf knows what Carath Ungol holds.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, it sucks to be them.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then but the next morning it says Faramir has gone again. They give him no rest. And the council all met together and they all decided, or at least Denethor is all, okay, man, we need to send someone out to try to get back Osgiliath, or it is at Osgiliath that he will put his weight. And it says, I will not yield the river and the Pelennor unfought, not if there is a captain here who has the courage to do his lord's will. Another dig at Faramir. And it says, all were silent, but at length Faramir said, I do not oppose your will, sire. Since you are robbed of Boromir, I will go and do what I can in his stead, if you command it. I do so, said Denethor. Then farewell, said Faramir, but if I should return, think better of me. He goes, that depends on the manner of your return.
Such a horrible thing to say to your child,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because basically, I'll respect you if you get killed in battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful.
Yeah. Well, killed in battle or victorious, I guess.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
It's like I just don't know if I should return. Think better of me. It also could be, well, if you come back alive, I may not be happy. I don't know. It's just terrible. And then finally, Gandalf goes over to Faramir and right before he leaves, don't throw your life away rashly or in bitterness. You will be needed here for other things than war. Your father loves you, Faramir, and will remember it in the end. Farewell. I don't know. Was that a prophecy or was that a whatchamacallit? Was that a just making him feel better before he goes out and gets his ass killed?
I feel like it was kind of a little bit of both. Like, Gandalf is wise, he's a wizard. So, of course he's like, he'll most likely see it before the end, but maybe he has a little bit of foresight himself and he's like, you know what? I know he'll see it before the end. I can kind of see it. Because I feel like they kind of allude to that sometimes, even though it's really Elrond that has it or it's really pronounced in. But I feel like it's a little bit alluded to from time to time with Gandalf.
Yeah. That's true. Oh, and sorry. Yeah, I just had seen the message that our Lady Toriel was going to have to leave us. And thank you for being here, Lady Toriel. If you're listening, we love you to death and have a good day. Thank you for joining us today. Always good to see you. Yeah, Throna Poopus Cooper says Denethor will live to rue his harsh words. And Seba said, yeah, he says if he wins, it would be a happy surprise for Denethor, basically. Yeah. Oh. Well, Steeg, I don't know. This just breaks my heart, all of this.
But no.
Oh, okay. Well, I know. Okay, your heart can't break.
Well, Denethor is supposed to be an antagonist.
Mhm.
It's he's not supposed to be nice, but it's the mirroring again, though. Uh, Theoden had Worm Tongue
Mhm.
screwing him up. Denethor had the Palantir. Same
Yeah.
kind of tactic employed almost
Mhm.
to weaken both kingdoms.
Oh.
Hi guys. Something came up and I'm gonna have to go. So, Teresa, thank you for having me on. I will try to get back next week, but I really, really have to go. So, you
Okay. Well,
guys all
thank you,
take
lady.
care.
Okay. Goodbye, lady.
Okay. I hope everything's okay. Good to talk to you.
Okay, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.
Okay. Goodbye.
Right.
Bye.
Yeah. So basically, Steve, if I'm hearing you correctly, you're also saying that he has to be this way because not because plot, because Tolkien doesn't do because plot, not too often.
Yeah. Well, it's a lot of mirroring, like I said, and I do think Gandalf has some ability to see the future, basically see events leading to events, right? Especially when it's Gandalf the White.
Yes, I feel like it's more pronounced.
Yeah, because in uh, in the Fellowship of the Ring, when he's still Gandalf the Grey, he's more indecisive almost.
Yeah.
Like he can't see clearly.
Like he can see it, but there's like a little bit of a fog kind of thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's especially when they're crossing, the if they're going to go through the Gap of Rohan or crossing the mountains and all that, he doesn't seem that sure of himself.
Well, and he's the one that wanted to go into the mines of Moria, and if he had seen what was in there, he wouldn't have wanted to go. That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, and then of course we all know what happens to Faramir. They all get defeated, and they all think he's all dead. And the Prince Imrahil brought Faramir to the White Tower, and he said, "Your son has returned, Lord, after great deeds." But Denethor arose and looked on the face of his son and was silent. Then he bade them make a bed in the chamber and lay Faramir upon it and depart. But he himself went up alone into the secret room under the summit of the tower. So he went up to the whatever, the Palantir. And when Denethor descended again, he went to Faramir and sat beside him without speaking. But the face of the Lord was gray, more death-like than his son's. Let's sigh. Oh gosh! Well, see, and I'm trying to think here. They really do a good job of making us all feel like in complete despair.
Yeah, they really do.
Oh, Toriel's back.
Oh, perhaps. Oh, let me see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's not because I don't love her, Toriel, but we're just, it's a precaution. We're having some technical difficulties. So let me know in the private chat, Toriel, if you're wanting to be added back to the stream. Yeah. Well, and I think it's pretty awesome. Oh, wow. Look at everyone that's coming in. Thank you. I think it's great that everyone's coming in. And then they all
awesome.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh wait, I'm getting another message. Talk Steve Kenobi and Princess Rennie while I have to sort this out.
Hi, Potato Revan. Nice to see you here. Uh-oh. See something else in there.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm back. All right. Well, and then finally, Denethor he's all going deep down despair. I sent my son forth, unthanked, unblessed, out into the needless peril, and here he lies with poison in his veins. Mean folk shall rule the last remnant of the king of men, lurking in the hills until all are hounded out. So he is going slowly into despair. Holy crap, this chapter goes on forever too.
It's a huge chapter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
when you read it, it's like, oh my god, it's still it's still going. There's another page and another and
Yeah.
another.
I mean, and just when you think things can't get any worse,
They do.
they do. Now we got this. Now we got that. Now we're being attacked. Now Denethor is like starting to lose his shit, and then he goes, my life is broken. Send for my servants. And Pippin left and called for the servants, little knowing.
Poor guy.
And then he finally realizes, what the hell? Your master is not himself. Go slow. Bring no fire to this place while Faramir lives. I can just see him having fires. Like, no. It's like, don't give matches to the crazy man.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, they
'Cause you
need it for the beat.
True. You know, and that just, to me, it shows how far gone like Denethor really is. It's like, your son's still breathing and you're going to burn him alive?
Mm-hmm.
Do you not see, like, he's not dead? Like, everybody else sees that he's not dead. So, I mean, you know, in a way, I kind of pity Denethor, you know, because he really is just so far gone.
It's Gollum-ish.
Yeah,
not unlike it. Yeah.
And they kind of did that with the Rankin Bass cartoon, if I remember right. He just looks so creepy and like creature-like rather than human.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And gosh, can you imagine if this dude had gotten the ring? Holy crap, how batshit crazy would he have been?
Yeah. Oh, that would not have been good. If Boromir had succeeded with taking it and bringing it to Gondor, it would have been a whole different ballgame.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, holy crap! Meanwhile, while he's losing his shit and all this sorts of other stuff, then the great assault is happening on the city, and it says drums are rolling louder, fires are leaping up, great engines are crawling across the field, and in the midst was a huge ram, great as a mighty forest tree, 100 feet in length, swinging on mighty chains. But about the gate, resistance was still stout. However, they've got this big old thing, and the drums rolled and rattled with a vast rush. They were Grandus hurled forward by huge hands. It reached the gate. It swung, and a deep boom rumbled throughout the city like thunder running in the clouds. But the doors of iron and posts of steel stood the stroke. Then the black captain rose in his stirrups and cried aloud in a dreadful voice, speaking in some forgotten tongue, words of power and terror to rend both heart and stone. Thrice he cried, and thrice the great ram boomed, and suddenly upon the last stroke, the gates of Gondor broke as if stricken by a blasting spell. It burst asunder, and there was a flash of searing lightning, and the doors tumbled in fragments to the ground. It's like it got hit by a big ass nuclear bomb.
Yeah. It just sounds like it completely destroys the doors.
Yeah. And I love this description too, Shane Nolan. And then with the black magic that you have going on too, with the big old witch king dude, or the black captain using the language of Mordor.
Yeah.
I mean, holy crap.
It's like you're casting like spells of foreboding to kind of help help
Yeah.
your team, against, the good guys.
Yeah, and it's
He's
like, and
he's
then on the
uh he's buffing his allies.
There you go.
oh boy. And then after that happens, in rode the Lord of the Nazgul, a great black shape against the fires beyond. He loomed up, grown to a vast menace of despair. In rode the Lord of the Nazgul, and all fled before his face, all save one. There, waiting silent and still in the space before the gate, sat Gandalf upon Shadowfax. You cannot enter here, said Gandalf, and the huge shadow halted. Go back to the abyss prepared for you. Go back.
He's a
And
very you shall not pass, you shall
Yeah.
not enter. Is like really, he's gatekeeping.
Oh dear. Yeah.
yes. Oh my gosh, you're right. I mean, he's only got one trick, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he does say go at the end of that one. Go back, go.
Well, he says that to the Balrog too. Go back
Yeah.
to the
Go back to the
shadows.
shadow. Oh,
Oh
jinx.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, it didn't work last time. You know.
Oh
Yeah, but he's more powerful now.
yeah. Yeah. You're right. Yeah, go back to the abyss prepared for you. Fall into the nothingness that awaits you and your master. yeah. Oh gosh, now it's going to be a Monty Python sketch. Then the Black Rider flung back his hood, and behold, he had a kingly crown, and yet upon no head visible was it set. The red fire shone between it, and the mantled shoulders vast and dark. From a mouth unseen there came a deadly laughter. Old fool, he said, old fool, this is my hour. Do you not know death when you see it? Die now and curse in vain. And with that, he lifted high his sword, and flames rang down the blade. I think this is the first time we get a good look at this dude.
Yeah.
No, weather top.
Well, true. You get to see him like, through the power of the ring.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but as Jacob says, where it says here, I like it when the Witch King pulls his hood back and all you see is a crown. Yeah, like that creepy kind of headless crown and the mouth.
I want to say they did it properly in the Rankin Bass one, where like they just show this crown and sitting on top of nothing.
Yeah. Well, I always thought it works better in the book because when you actually see it, it looks a bit cheesy.
Yeah. That's kind of why I like what they did with it in Peter Jackson's movies. Instead of like, taking it off, they just kind of put this thing kind of over his hood to where, I don't know, you don't really expose him so much, but I don't know. I think that's the best they could really do with it at the time.
Yeah. Gosh, I just love this. I think it's just so dramatic. And then they say, oh, Snortopupus, before I read on, he says, this is, Snortopupus Kuber says, this is the Witch King at his fullest extent. His power has been steadily growing throughout these 3 books. Yeah, like as the darkness continues to rise, that it is, it's like he's getting powerful. Okay, hello, Tyron Beard, always good to see you. I just love this. And then it says Gandalf did not move, so I guess he wasn't impressed. And in that very moment, away behind in some courtyard of the city, a cock crowed. Shrill and clear he crowed, recking nothing of wizardry or war, welcoming only the morning that in the sky far above the shadows of death was coming with the dawn. And as if in answer, there came from far away another note. Horns, horns, horns. In dark Mindoluan sides, they dimly echoed, the great horns of the north wildly blowing. Rohan had come at last.
Oh, I love that. I love that scene in the movie too, like where you can hear it and then like you see just this vast, well, for me it's vast because I don't have an army, but you see this vast army of Rohan like shining in the sunrise, and it's just like hope has come. So it's such a good scene. I just love it. Ugh,
Oh yeah. Well, and then just how badass
that's
the
right.
whole ride of the Rohirrim is. But guess what? We're not going to watch that. We're not going to read that because these chapters are so deep and so intense that we've got the next chapter is going to be the two parts that make the big huge battle. We're going to have chapter 5, which is the ride of the Rohirrim, and then the battle of Pelennor Fields, and that's going to be plenty of material, and it's going to be pretty intense. So we're going to save that for our next session. But getting to this point, gosh, I just love the way he builds to this climax. Damn it. I had is there another way to say build to something like that or to a climax without it sounding dirty? I'm not
Conclusion?
entirely
Yes.
Well, it's not a conclusion though, because
Build
this is
to
like
a nice. Well, I was going to say
well,
finish, but that's
I'm gonna
not.
say climax and fine. Everyone can giggle.
I
But
was
for
going to say
real,
finish, but that's not any better.
Building up to the battle.
well, no, not just to the battle. There's more than the battles happening here. This is the culmination of everything that's been happening with the world of men part of this story. With the Rohan and the Gondor, like everything that Boromir was saying about what was going on, and the Aemir, and they come together, and then it's just this badass big battle. And then, of course, when Rohan arrives, oh gosh, it's just gonna kick some ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling in the book. It's a good feeling in the movie. It's like, yes, reinforcements.
Yeah.
We have a chance.
Yeah, but not just reinforcements. This is also the first time we really see the full might of Gondor and the full might of Rohan together.
Yes.
They're all together as a family. The world of men, the world of men standing united against the bad guys.
And then when Aragorn and his company arrive, you've got some men from Numenor as well, which is kind of nice.
Yes. Yeah, that's the cavalry. Yes, the cavalry has arrived. We love them.
Yeah.
Well, the elves arrive at Pelennor as well.
Yeah.
Because I think Haldir dies there. In the movies, he dies at
Helm's
Helm's Deep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because like Elrond sends some of his men. Aren't they part of the Numenorian company or no? I can't remember. I need to reread that part.
Yeah, I haven't reread that part yet, so I don't know. Come back to me later after I've
Because I want to say they fight with Aragorn. They're in Aragorn's party.
Yeah, well, because they have to go through all the dead crap.
Yeah.
Well, Aragorn arrives from the south, though. So the elves would have had to gone past Pelennor Field to join them. So now I think they arrive from the north.
You could be right. I just don't remember.
Yeah. By golly, everybody read this week and we'll have it all correct. Yeah. But you gotta laugh though, that in a horrible way. I just keep going back to Denethor. He's like, lay out my son on this slab and bring some wood and I guess some matches. No, dry wood and a torch. And Pippin's like, don't do it. Don't do it.
Run them little legs to Gandalf.
Yeah, but he's saying to the servants, it's like, yeah, hello. Like when someone's acted like they're crazy and they've got their son laid out, and he's like, bring me some dry wood and a torch. You'd think that would be where the servants might be. Well,
I see breathing. Not a good idea. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you, my chat. You guys are coming to my savior. That's coming to my savior. My gosh, my brain cells coming to our rescue here. Shane Nolan says, Elendan and Ella here. Haldir, I believe, is killed at Dol Guldur, Halabrad dies at Pelennor Fields. Okay,
Oh,
and
okay.
okay, yeah, and the
Cool.
Shane Nolan says the great company and elves are with Aragorn when they arrive by sea.
Okay.
And oil. Yeah, I forgot oil. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, jeez.
And Aragorn's cousins. Oh, yeah. Hey, it's a family affair. Yay. Cool stuff. Cool stuff. Gosh.
It really makes me want to rewatch the movies too.
Yes, yes. Well, and I just forgot how badass these battles are when you sit and read them. I mean, it's been a long time since I've reread The Return of the King, especially these battles. It's probably been about 10 years where I've actually sat and read them. It's like, damn.
It's just funny because he seems to set up this whole feeling of despair and hopelessness, and it's like, how can they get out of this? That's how it feels like every time, like, somebody goes to war or to battle, and then, and then we either forget about the other stuff that's happening. It's like, oh yeah, this party's riding in this way, so they'll be here to save the day, or we don't realize that this and this are going on behind the scenes as well. So it's kind of interesting because you have that feeling of hopelessness, but ultimately good overpowers evil.
Yeah. Well, and just how badass they are that even in their shite condition, as Theoden was saying earlier, after the Battle of Helm's Deep and everything, that they were able to muster, they were able to ride in record time and then arrive to just kick some serious ass.
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh boy. Tyrone Beard, he's being a simp here. Yeah, we got a simp, everybody. We have a simp. I love hearing Rennie speak on so many topics. One thing I've come to realize and accept is rule number 1: Rennie is always right.
It's kind of a rule we have in the relationship, so I really respect that he respects that. I'm like, when in doubt, reference rule number 1.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, it's pretty much true. I'm just saying.
Ouch. Well, okay then. We must make some awesome sandwiches and yeah. Yeah. Sonora Poopas Cooper says Haldir is not mentioned in the books after the chapters in Lothlorien. There is no mention of his fate after that.
I thought it was mentioned in Unfinished Tales.
Oh,
maybe. I don't know.
It's been a while since I've read that. I don't remember.
Yeah.
My memory is rusty about that.
Yeah, we need to go back and reread that too. Oh crap! Though we're not going to do any of that stuff chapter by wait, don't quote me on that. I've learned never say never.
I was going to say, I think Stieg almost had you convinced to do the Silmarillion last week.
I forgot how convincing he can be.
Yeah.
I won't say never, because if I have to go back on my word, then that would make me look weak. Nah, I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong.
Yeah, same here. It's, I was totally teasing you guys.
Okay. Yeah, and just to give you all a heads up, maybe as you start to gather your thoughts, if there's anything you want to say about leading up to this battle, these last chapters, you tell even more how Faramir is just the most perfect thing ever, Denethor, and anything like that, to be... to summarize, I'm sorry, I'm laughing here. In for a penny, in for a pound, says Shane Nolan. Yes, Stig, I didn't know if you had any concluding thoughts, concerns, worries. I told you so's about these chapters.
No, it's pretty straightforward, but it also allows the reader the opportunity to think a bit, especially in terms of the Denethor stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But good chapters.
Okay, yeah, cool. Yeah, I think I've said a lot about how I feel. I don't know, anything that you left out, Rennie?
No, I really do like the parallels between Merry and Pippin in these two chapters. I do like how, even though it's temporary, Merry feels like he's part of, the Rohirrim,
Yeah.
even though they, eventually decline him his place. However, he and I forget what Eowyn called herself when she was cross-dressing as Dude, but he and her ultimately wind up being like an ultimate fighting team, and I just think that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, same thing with, Pippin. Pippin, it's so awesome how the Rohirrim, or how the people of Rohan and the people of Gondor just accept these little people, so to speak. I don't know what we would call them today, but I guess it would be little people. And, they sit here and, think, well, I know I'm little, but I can actually offer some good stuff. And, some people actually give them the benefit of the doubt and the chance. And I think it's really nice to see that interaction between hobbits and humans like it's nothing. So makes them feel like they're a part of something. And I really like that. And, even the smallest person can make the biggest difference. And I really like that Tolkien really plays that up.
Well, speaking of small persons that made no difference, Matt Wilkins is in the chat.
Matt Wilkins says, "Good afternoon, ladies. Stieg included in that welcome."
Hey, Matt. Oh, he's really nice. I love you guys' rivalry. It cracks me up.
Gosh, well, he got his little toddlers in on during the Bah Humbug, Stieg. He got those little girls the same. No.
No.
You got a family of enemies, Stieg. Oh, no comment? Okay.
No, it wasn't a question. He just said it. I was like, okay.
I was like, did he fall asleep?
No. Good guess, though, because that usually happens when Wilkins is around.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Well, I've already said how much I love the battles and just how well crafted he did these, just everything leading up to it, and the big banging of the gate and everything, and the arrival of the Rohirrim. But I also like the way in this chapter he really expands upon the complex relationship between fathers and sons and siblings and all that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I do like the big reveal with the Witch King. You forget until you reread the chapters how well he's described by Tolkien.
Mm-hmm.
I really do like that. I think, in the movie they do play him up pretty well, but I just don't know if you really know how powerful this former man really is. And he's a holy terror.
Yeah, I don't think that they did a good job of truly showing how terrifying he was. Because even just rereading that, when I was just reading it for you, I got the shivers. It's like, this guy is freaking creepy. This guy is evil, and he's that powerful. Oh my gosh, Snort Poopy Scooper said, "What I want to know is just when did Mary realize that Durnhelm had a nice butt?"
That's her name, Durnhelm.
Yeah.
I just couldn't remember. Oh, God.
Okay. Tyrone is just talking about your relationship here. I thought he was going to say something about the book. No, he's just giving away relationship secrets between you two.
Girl, I've almost got him convinced to listen to the audiobooks. I don't know if he's going to read the books, but he's like, if we do a road trip, we can do audiobooks. I'm like, okay, well, that's a good compromise. Yeah.
That is a very good compromise. Shay Nolan Stieg is an adorable girl, too. Oh, my gosh.
Well, he did do that face app, right, Stieg? Where he did that makeup job?
No, that was years ago, and I didn't do it. I sent a picture of me to someone else who did it because I don't do apps. You
were such a pretty girl.
Oh. Yeah. I actually disagreed. I thought he looked horrible as a woman.
Oh, I thought he was adorable.
No. As Stieg says, no. Well, I can't do it right. I have too much soul in my body. I can't say no with such emptiness.
You just say no.
Yeah, like that.
No, it just doesn't work. Oh, what is Matt says? Wilkins says Tolkien's character development in the novels is done masterfully. Yes, yes, and
Absolutely.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
No argument
Um,
here.
yeah. Oh, Snortopoopas or sorry, Shane says he's talking to Snortopoopas. Must have been a confusing, conflicted ride for a young man. Yeah, he's sitting right in front of Eowyn
Yeah, and
under
he's
the.
lower too, so he's looking straight at the.
Boobies.
No, he's not facing her tits.
Oh, that's true.
Well, no.
That's a different kind of writing.
Well, I mean, that's where his head would probably hit.
Well, he was underneath her cloak because she hit him for a while. She hit him.
That's right.
So he's pressed right up against
Boobies.
Her chainmail.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Hide in the boobs, Mary. Show courage.
Oh, that's a different kind of Lord of the Rings story. That's the kind you'd find on fanfiction.net.
Yeah.
Luffy is God says, no, that sounded that sounded optimistic, Steeg. These people are a bad influence on you.
Yeah, I was brimming with joy.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, your fellow Norwegian is judging you for your emotion. Oh gosh, Mary, nice headrest.
Yeah, like, oh, this horse comes with airbags.
Didn't even feel the impact.
Oh no. Well, before things get too weird,
yeah, no. let's stop before they get weird.
Too late. Oh gosh. No, but I'm really excited about rereading the Ride. The Ride of the Rohirrim is holy shit. That is some of my favorite stuff, and I will say it right here and unashamedly. Getting to see that on the big screen when you just saw the whole rows of the horses.
Mm-hmm.
And when they started their charge and it had that music, from the Rohirrim theme,
Yes.
I cried. I just bawled right there in the movie theater. I was so moved. It was so
I'm
beautiful.
never watching a movie at a theater with you.
I didn't cry, but I was really just like, I felt like so much hope and so much joy. And it's like, yes, this is awesome.
Oh, it was just so, oh, come on, Steve, come on. Well, no one could see me crying.
She was shedding silent tears.
I hope not.
Well, I was with my friends. They don't judge me for crying, but yeah, you were. That's what it was. It wasn't I was sad. It was like what Rennie said. You were just overcome with, like I said, joy and the aesthetics, the beauty of it.
Yeah, and Howard Shore really did a great scores for all the movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, like I felt like the Rohirrim were given a real like Celtic vibe. Mm-hmm. And the music really reflected that, and I just everything he did just gave you like the right mood or the right feeling of what was going on with the movie, and it was just done beautifully for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Jacob Ironside said it made me want to be in the battle. Yeah. Yeah, there was a line that Robert E. Lee said at the Battle of Fredericksburg. He said, "It is a good thing that war is so terrible, because it's like looking so magnificent, because it is like when you see a big army doing that and mustering, it's in a weird way, it's a very awe-inspiring sight, but it's also horrible. It's just absolutely horrendous. And I think they did a good job also in the movie of showing both sides of that. Yeah, it's like, yay, look at this big charge and all that. And then when they boom and they're just fighting and hacking at each other, it's pretty intense.
It's like, oh, yikes.
Yeah. Slightly off topic, the another movie that does that really well is the Henry V movie with Kenneth Branagh. And we have the whole St. Crispin's Day speech and all that, and the battle is just really intense. And it also shows after the battle, the carnage and all of that. And yeah, Shane says he's going to be rereading the challenge. Sorry, the next chapters tonight, and my job then is done. It's just really inspiring to reading these again. I mean, that just really warms my heart because I have a heart. Shane Nolan says Patton said something similar. God forgive me, for I do love it so. Yes, and there was a Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain who defended Little Round Top at Gettysburg. He had a real hard time when he went back to civilian life because paradoxically he had never felt so alive as when he was commanding an army. It's very interesting. Discussion for another day. Let's see. Dadman Walking says, I've always had to work hard at reading, but the Lord of the Rings series was incredibly well written and I enjoyed reading. Absolutely, and that's what makes him so brilliant. Shane Nolan says, have I seen Belfast, Kenneth Branagh's new movie? Not yet. Those topics are kind of hard for me to watch, maybe a little too close to home. Because that was a story that was set, I think, during the 70s, 80s. Let me know what you think about it, Shane, because, yeah, those were hard times. Those, what was going on up there in the north. And when I was a little girl, it was all happening, and that's why I always tell people I never went to Northern Ireland, because when I was living there, it just wasn't. It was a sad place to be. Let me just put it to you that way. Liffy God says that was all ruined when the ghost turned up and killed everyone. Looney Tunes. Yeah, I was gonna say it was such a good battle, and then it was a scrubbing bubbles commercial. It was a scrubbing bubbles commercial. It says yes, that line of Lee is really significant in light of the actual events of the battle at Fredericksburg. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the battle. A lot of people like to talk about Pickett's charge, but holy crap, the charges over and over again that the Union Army did at Fredericksburg in winter in the snow. Unbelievable. Senator Poops Cooper says Howard Shore scored the Rohim thing using a Hardanger fiddle. Ooh, score one for Norway. Well, there you go.
Nice.
There you go. And I'm not going to try to say the correct pronunciation, Steak, because, I have issues. I don't know if you want to or not. It's your choice.
No.
Okay, then I won't.
Wow.
It was much better for him to say it than me to mispronounce it. Death, death, death. Oh, we have bacon in the house. Okay. Oh, Shane Nolan says 1969. Yes, it's very, very hard. Bitter. Great movie, though. Yes, my folks were nearly killed by bombs before I was born. Wow.
Aw.
Yeah. Gosh, yeah. Oh, gosh, 1969. Yeah, that was intense. That was, yeah, he's talking about the troubles, the issues up there in Northern Ireland. But I'm sure it's a great movie because Kenneth Branagh is amazing. I think I'll have to be in a very good place, like emotionally, before I watch it, though. Gosh, yeah. Well, all I keep telling people is that I was in Harrods just a few days before the IRA bombed it out when I was a little girl. So that could have been me. Sort of Pupus Kuber says Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain suffered serious wounds later in the war and wasn't expected to live. He was in pain for the rest of his life. Yeah, that is absolutely true. He got a gut shot. I mean, the dude should have died about 10 times. Yeah, and he was in constant pain. Yeah, it was something else. I love his story. There's a great book about him called In the Hands of Providence. Jacob Ironside said, spears shall be shaken, shields shall be splintered. A sword day. Dead man walking up the hill at a fixed defensive position behind a stone wall. Sorry, I'm a U.S. Civil War nerd. No, so am I. I actually used to do living history, and I've been to all those battlefields. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Ere the sun rises. Yeah. Good stuff.
Nice.
Good stuff. Yeah, who knows? Maybe one day I'll do a Civil War stream or something, because I did a lot of studies on that when I was in high school and college, and I've done it all. It's pretty intense. Shane Nolan says Mr. Martin Muses is loosely based on his childhood. His family left Belfast for England to avoid the troubles. It's from the perspective of 7-year-old self. Wow. Yeah, that's true. A lot of people think of him as a Brit. I mean, technically, he's from Northern Ireland, Kenneth Branagh. I mean, we'll go figure with a name like Branagh.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
I think because he talks like a Brit, people mistake him for one.
Yeah.
Well, he is a Brit.
Yeah. Well, technically, yeah. If you're from Northern Ireland, you are British. But yeah, he has a British accent, all that. I mean, because he left when he was 7. You know, you don't think of him as Irish. Well, then again, that's a whole big argument right there. Are you British if you live in Northern Ireland or not?
Oh no.
Oh gosh, I'm not gonna go there. I can't
I don't know
believe
if the
I said
Irish
that.
would agree. That's a tough
Well,
one.
it depends on which side you're on. I have to say the IRA. It wasn't something you talked about. I lived in the Republic of Ireland, and you just didn't talk about it, and you still don't really talk about it. There's really only till recently that there's been some museums opening up and some things like that. I mean, you can go to like Kilmainham Jail where they talk about 1916 and the Easter Rising, but only very recently they opened it up a museum visitor center for the Battle of the Boyne because of the history there was so issue-ish. Yeah. Shane Lowen says, wasn't Chamberlain elected governor of Maine? Yes, he served 4 terms as the governor of Maine. Shane Nolan, yes, he was. Shane Nolan says, my father hated the IRA. Even today, he gets very upset about it. Yes. See, that's the other thing. They were despised because, from my perspective and from my friend's perspective, it was, even if they wanted on an intellectual level for, Ireland to be completely for the Irish, nobody supported terrorism. And that's the thing, is that's a line you don't cross.
Yeah, absolutely.
And murder, and that's the thing, is that the IRA is a terrorist organization. Jacob Ironstein says there came a point where they split and one part became more radicalized. Are you talking about the IRA now? We're confusing our Civil War and yeah. Maybe I'll do a stream on that. Though I need to be very, very cautious because it's a very delicate situation. I'll just say, having lived in Cork City, you also have where one part of you can see where the things were all burned down and everything during the Black and Tans. What they did to Cork City was pretty awful. All right. Well, I'll fold that in the back of my hand. I do know someone that is studying to get their doctorate in those studies, and maybe I'll go there or maybe I won't. It just depends on how my mood is. But I do want to watch that movie eventually when I feel like I'm okay. Shane Nolan says IRA and provision IRA. I'd also got to say is this, a lot of people are like, oh, did you see where St. Patrick was, buried and all that? It's like, well, no, I didn't go up there because that was in Northern Ireland. And I've been to Ireland so many times since then, but I just haven't gotten up there for several reasons. Yeah, Burned. I know a good Cork historian. Yeah. See, I've been doing a lot of history studies in Cork when I've gone back before the stupid COVID. I used to try to go every year. A lot of studies around the Viking area over by St. Finbarr's Cathedral, which is where the city basically started. And you still have the names of them all have Viking names based on Norse names and the way that they even built the roads. It's just very fascinating. And they're doing a lot of archaeological work there. So that's where I've been focusing my studies in Ireland. Maybe I'll go up to Northern Ireland. I don't know. Maybe one day, if they'll ever let me in because of, COVID.
Oh, girl. Yeah.
Yeah. But when Americans want to go and have a drink called the Black and Tan, it's like, no. That just stings. Have half Guinness and half Harp. Just call it that. I call it a half and half. Though technically a half and half is a little bit different. But yeah, that name stings.
We have a really good Irish pub in Dallas, and it's
Mhm.
actually owned by an Irish immigrant.
Ah.
And yeah, they serve a lot of that kind of stuff. And they have so many types of Irish whiskeys. It's not even funny. I
Mhm.
did a couple of whiskey flights there that were pretty freaking good.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool experience. Not very like a lot of the Americanized things that you see out there because this pub is owned by an actual Irishman. So
Yes.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, it's authentic.
And
What
they always
last?
have like soccer on and it's pretty
Yes.
fun. It's really fun.
Oh yeah, and if there's a decent Irish pub, even here in America, that's the best place to go watch the soccer matches. We used to do that during World Cup and all that. Um,
Oh girl, it gets so crazy during World Cup there, but it's a lot of fun. And they have a lot of good food and but like I've never seen so many Irish whiskeys in one place. It's pretty cool.
oh yeah, well, girl, one day, okay, because I've talked with Jay about this drunk 3PO. One of these days, we're all going to meet in Dublin, and
Ooh.
we'll just all tour Ireland, and I'll show everyone around. We'll get a car and maybe hire a driver because you have to be on the left side of the road. And I mean, because you've never had Irish whiskey till you've had Irish whiskey like in Ireland.
Mm.
It's like
I
they say,
mean,
get
I'm
his
willing
taste.
to try.
Yeah, get his taste. They always
Oh,
the
so
expression.
so that's why you need a driver.
No,
Designated driver.
no, I need a driver because I can barely drive a stick, let alone drive a stick backwards on the left side of the road. But actually, I always recommend, especially Americans, if you're not used to it, just for safety's sake, don't drive in Ireland. And that's how stupid Matthew Broderick, he killed somebody, and a lot of fatal accidents do happen because it's just so different. Shane Nolan says black and tans burned my grandmother's house, made her homeless at 16. Holy crap. Yeah. That's about the right age, isn't it? Yeah. Just a night dress to her name.
Oh
Yeah.
man, that's rough.
Yeah. Yeah. The black and tans, if you want to Google them, we're not too fond of them. Let me know. I'll be there, Teresa. Okay. Well, who knows? Who knows? We'll see. I actually have an article coming out on Jay's, what is it? Jaywalking the Planet, I think the name of his thing. It's going to be coming out soon, and I do
His,
mention.
well, there's a pun in there though. I mean, jaywalking.
Well, yeah. I mean, so it was made for you, Steve. It was made. It was made for you.
But tis.
Yeah. Yeah. I talk a little bit about the first article is about Dingle Peninsula, and again, most of my areas are Cork. I see, but this is the thing about Cork is a lot of Americans or tourists, they know about some of these other places, but just the richness that you have around Cork City, just like what I was just saying. Like how many people know that you can go see all that Viking crap in Cork City. People think Cork City is a piece of crap, but there's that, and then there's Shannon, the bells of Shandon and the history there, a lot of the history from the Jacobins that you'll find. And okay, I do have a mod. Yeah, mod, if you wouldn't mind helping me with the Russians. Tyrone Beard said, in a bar, Aussies hate the Irish because they come in with their accent and all the Aussie girls swoon and slip off their bar stools.
Yep.
Yeah, you see, they compete with the accents, yes. Snort Poopus, I had trouble in New Zealand. Fortunately, I had a local driver. I almost got run over crossing a road on a quiet Sunday. Only one car on the road, and I looked the wrong way. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I do. Well, I say it in the article, but the public transportation there is very, very good. You can see a lot of things by bus and by train, and some of the out of the way things, just go ahead and take tours, or you can hire a car if you can afford it, or get together with a bunch of friends to hire a driver. That's the safest way. I'm lucky that, again, because we lived there, my sister, she still knows how to drive over there. So when I get her over there with me maybe about once a decade or so, and that's the best way, if you know someone that can drive and feels very comfortable driving safely. And who knows, I said a deal like maybe one day if we all pitched in, paid for her plane ticket and just had her drive us around too, that's probably cheaper than hiring a driver. But there's many different places you can do. I'm loving to see this Civil War history here. Yeah, Chattanooga and Chickamauga. Yes, I've been there as well. That's also something that from the Civil War a lot of people don't know about what the Union Army achieved there. That was some badass stuff. Yes. Uh, let's see. Did they get the Russians? I think they did. Yeah. Well, cool. Let's all. Well, maybe with all of these countries starting to drop their mandates. I mean, overnight, what England has dropped them now. Ireland has.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shane, let me know. I mean, are they really opening up everything? And does that include vax mandates? Or is it just vax passports? Because sometimes, we need someone on the ground helping us out here. Hopefully, maybe the rest of the countries and they'll open up because I know it's been devastating to the tourism industry, especially. I know Ireland really depends on people coming in and Americans and people from all over the world. When I like to go to Iceland, I go to Iceland frequently. Same thing. That's what keeps them alive. Oh yeah, Iceland. Oh my gosh, that's a great place, and it's cheap. Well, relatively cheap to fly there in the winter because they want to get you over there. You know what I mean? So winter is a good time to see there if you don't mind freezing your buttocks. I mean, literally freezing your buttocks off. It's like deathly cold, but you get to see a lot of the cool stuff, a lot of the museums, and I got to see a glacier once, and you can still go to the hot springs. The hot springs are open there.
Ooh.
But yeah, but they're being devastated by this because they depend on people like Americans coming over or other people trying to see the daggone Northern Lights, and coming. That's their industry, that and fish. They don't have much else. Okay. Shane Nolan says, hallelujah, just passports, I believe. And yes, he says, yes, devastating. Yes. Yeah, because when I go over there, I like to sit and chat with the bartenders and the locals and stuff, and they'll say that sometimes there might be some idiots talking anti-American stuff, and they're always like, shut up, because they're saying if it weren't for the Americans coming over here, it's like he said, this dude was like, I wouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I hear they make a lot of money off of tourism.
Yeah.
Or they did.
They did, yeah. And so
Yeah.
that's why it's been so devastating with COVID. And, correct me if I'm wrong, Steve, I think Scandinavia, don't they also depend a lot of tourism, like especially cruises? I don't know, if their cruises are allowed to go.
Yeah, there's a lot of tourism in Norway for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if we depend on it though, because we're an oil nation.
Oh. Well, there you go. They got oil. They're fine. Poor Ireland, though, doesn't have oil. If Ireland had oil, well, actually, they'd probably be more oppressed. So actually, let's not even start there.
Yeah.
They were oppressed enough. But I do know that, if you don't have people renting hotel rooms, if you don't have people going to the museums, you don't have people going to the restaurants.
Not going to make any money.
Yeah. Renting the boats. Tyrone Beard says, tourism is one of our biggest exports. Hard borders have made tens of thousands of people in business go bust. Yes.
Yeah.
He's talking about Australia. Yeah, that kills it. Yeah. Shane Nolan says, yeah, I hate that anti-American stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's what this guy was saying. He was like, shut the fuck up. We want him to come. It's like, as he said, I wouldn't have a job if you Americans quit coming over here. And we tip. I don't know if they... the verdict's still out there. I always tip, and everyone's always like, "Wow, thanks." And I'm like, doesn't everybody tip? And they're saying that you can, but it's not. I don't know. It's just
from what I hear, we're the only country that it's like really a thing, or where it's an expectation. Yeah. Because here, like they pay, service workers or, people, food servers, like $2 an hour. At least in Texas, they can get away with that. In California, they couldn't. They had to pay them at least minimum wage. But here, like they can pay them $2 an hour because their income is based a lot on tips, and they rely on tips. And then if you don't tip them, you're an a-hole because they only made like, $2 an hour that day. So if they worked an 8-hour day, they made $16.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're used to tipping because we feel like we have to.
Yeah. And like I said, it's not, it's not like it's expected or unexpected. It's accepted. Oh, Shane says, no, we tip waiters, usually part-time kids in restaurants. It's voluntary. Okay, so that's it. Yeah. So it's voluntary, and I mean technically it's voluntary in America too, but yeah, but I think that because this dude was like, you guys tip us because maybe we think it's not voluntary. But either way, I mean, I don't mind tipping a good waiter or a good bartender, because I mean, I've done those kind of jobs in my day, and usually there's a whole bunch of, a lot of people are really nice and all that, but also there's some people that are jerks, and people think of them as look down on them.
Oh,
Um,
absolutely. Those people will ruin your day 10 times harder than a nice person will make it better, you know?
exactly. And it's always cute because they always say cheers. I love the way they say cheers. They do that in when I was in Manchester as well. Jacob Ironside says, I especially hate anti-American stuff from my leaders in Washington, D.C. Oh, yeah, I hate that too. Yeah. Bartenders get nothing. Oh, okay. Yeah. Because that is usually, good guys.
Yeah, here you tip your bartender.
Yeah. Well, and especially if you're a lady bartender, boy, do you get a lot.
Oh, yes. Wear a
Yeah.
tank top.
Yeah. Tyrone Beard says, Shane Nolan, it's like nothing I believe to see my country become, especially my state of Victoria. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awful.
How are we? Well, we're in our open topic part where we're. Oh, I think it was Shane, yeah, because he started asking me if I saw that Kenneth Branagh movie about the Troubles. Yeah, so now we're talking a lot about Ireland and how many economies have been devastated by the travel restrictions. Oh, and a lot of the Civil War sites. Gosh, I need to do a stream about that. That'd be lovely. And well, and not just tourist sites here in the here over there. I mean, there's many areas of America that really depend on tourism. One area is Broadway. Broadway's being devastated because a lot of their shows, yeah, locals go see their shows, but a lot of people from out of town or people visiting, they're like, go to New York and you see a Broadway show.
Oh God, yeah, and they're requiring vaccine passports everywhere in New York. I know a couple of people there, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Though I don't entirely feel sorry for them. I'm sorry because if you voted for that, well, then you're wondering why no one comes to visit. It's like, well,
Kind of like with the California governor as well.
oh gosh,
Pretty bad.
Yeah, it sucks here. Why does it suck here?
Because
But
you voted for this dude.
yeah, they're like, come see Broadway shows, and everyone's like, well, you won't let us come see Broadway shows.
Yeah.
Now Florida is doing fine because they've pretty much been open, but I mean, if they tried to do something like that, like where I am, I'm in a tourist town, which really heavily depends on beach traffic. People not just coming to the beach, but every single restaurant, there's gift shops, there's little coffee shops, there's ice cream trucks and all that. If they were to say you're not allowed on the beach, no tourists, it would completely destroy the economy of this town. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
this particular town, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially, but yeah, the whole Florida, yeah, Disney World and all that. But nothing would be open. Nothing.
Yeah.
It would all close down because these things cater tourism. It's like as though if we had a great white shark and they said we couldn't use the water. Yeah, I mean, I never understood that as a child. While they were like, no, we got to stay open on the 4th of July. And then I realized, oh, it will completely devastate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Well, oh, yeah. Snorter Poops Cooper makes a good point. When I was younger, I always wanted to visit San Francisco and Seattle. You couldn't pay me to go there. Yeah, no.
Yeah, not
no
anymore,
way.
no.
Nope.
Unfortunately.
But they've done that to themselves. So see, I'm getting to be a real old bitter woman, if you will. I just do not feel one iota sorry for those cities anymore. I used to, but I'm like, if this is what you want, this is what you get.
Well, I do feel bad for the people that don't that don't ask for it or don't vote for it. It's like, well, kind of sucks because yeah, I get you didn't vote for the guy or you didn't want it, but dude, get out. If you can get out, get out.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do feel for the people that can't get out,
Yes.
because I do know it's easier said than done, but if you can, I mean, the writing's on the wall. The writing's on the wall. And I think that's why they get so upset. Like, I remember when our state opened up, and everyone was like, "How dare you?" Blah blah. And we're like, "Well, what do you care? You're all over in New York. You know, why are you so upset?" And then I finally realized I think they're jealous or something. They're like,
Yeah.
"It's not fair." It's
Yeah,
like,
we're
well,
just living our lives, you know?
yeah. And then they were like, "Well, when all of you die," and then when we didn't die, they were all upset too. It was like, well,
It's like maybe Greg Abbott's onto something. I don't know.
yeah. Well, this is all I got to say. I mean, be prudent. Don't be dumb, especially if you have, if you're around vulnerable populations. You know, if you have older people or know someone that's immunocompromised. But at the end of the day, if you want to keep people healthy, get them outside, get them moving, get them exercising, get them happy.
Get
Because
him
the
some
worst thing,
sunshine. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I really felt it a bit. I had to quarantine for a little bit because we weren't sure if I had Omicron, and it took me forever to get a test. And the second my negative test came out, I went to a Pilates class. I went to the gym. I swam some laps. I went in the sauna, and I rode my bike, though I was riding my bike. But, you know, I really love going to the gym and really getting a good workout. And I felt immediately like $1,000,000. And I'm like, oh, so, you know, all the things that make my body feel good, make me feel alive, help my spirits up, they were kind of taken away from us. It's insane. And that also keeps your immune system. And I had forgotten what it was like because it had only been a week, but I really
Yeah.
felt it during the initial shutdown. I
Lockdown.
mean, yeah, I mean, they closed down gyms for months.
Yeah, I remember for a while it was just like you could get deliveries. And Texas did the thing where, we know it sucks that you can't go anywhere, but you know what? We'll even deliver alcoholic beverages to you. And we're like, okay, that's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah, it's all right. But objectively speaking, the last thing you want to do to a whole bunch of depressed people is like, okay, we'll bring you
Some alcohol.
yeah, some alcohol and some fat.
Exactly.
Why don't we get you fat, drunk, and addicted?
Exactly.
Speaking of drunk and addicted, well, no, none of those things actually. I was going to say something mean, but I'm not mean because actually I don't know anything about anybody. They're talking about footage from. Oh yeah, what's going to go on? What's going on in Australia? I was watching Australian comments talking on British news about it and policing history in Australia and how people incorrectly assume Australia is like America, but it's not.
No,
Oh,
it's really not.
okay, yeah. Well, we lost the Viking. He finally said, "Feck these women." No, well, we got quite a good chat going on here. The good thing I'm not monetized because we probably would have been kicked off about 10 hours ago. Oh, well, isn't that absurd that now all the things that used to get you kicked off and banned, it's now they're all saying, "Oh yeah, those people were right." It's like, are they going to go back and make reparations to the poor people that lost their jobs or lost their livelihoods? I mean, come on.
Girl, yeah, it's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
where were you like 2 years ago?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's a crazy time that we live in. Okay, well, I am going to be wrapping up this party. We've been going for a good 2 hours, and
Sorry, I was doing something.
oh, well, I'm sure it was more important. No, it's quite all right, Steve. We were figuring that. Yeah,
I thought you fell asleep.
No, no, Wilkins left, so it's
I was like, he probably didn't want anybody to hear him snoring, so he put himself on mute just in case.
Yeah, now we're just yapping about various different things.
World events.
And, yeah, putting on our tinfoil hats. Well, we haven't yet gone into like. Well, we've been talking about real sad stuff, haven't we? But we haven't talked about uh, orphans in London during the Dickinsonian times yet. So I guess we haven't hit every sad situation.
Yeah, no.
The little match girl. I'm so cold, and she freezes to death. I mean, that's the saddest story you've ever heard. Wait,
Oh,
just a
girl.
second, my mom.
Okay.
Uh-oh, did we lose Teresa?
Temporarily, I think.
Okay, you have to vamp, Steve.
Oh, sorry, mom. Well, couldn't you see I was muted? I'm sorry. My mama, she had a question for me. So,
Aw.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, we're gonna have like it's about dinner. We're thinking of getting like making caprese salads, and so Dad's going to the
Ooh.
store, so we're gonna get some mozzarella and tomatoes and basil and brie.
Ooh,
Mhm.
good
Not
stuff.
Yeah, not all together. Not all together. Well,
Well,
thank
yeah.
you. Well, thank you everyone for being here. Thank you everyone for being here. Of course, the chat, you all are great. I love all the conversations you were having. We had Jacob Ironside, Jaden Shane Nolan, Snorter Poopus Kuber, Wilkins came in, Tyrone. If I don't get to everyone, it's not because I don't love you. It's just that my stupid thing. I'm still trying to figure out how to scroll back to the old conversations, but I do appreciate everyone who pops into the chat. Thank you to my my mods. Thank you to my mods. Thank you to Keck44. Thank you to Maza. All of you coming in, and of course, thank you, Rennie. Rennie, what is going on with you?
Oh, girl. Today's a pretty chill day. Typically, you can find me on Mr. Brown Alliance on around 4 or 5 on Saturdays. Today, I'm taking the day off because I just couldn't get into the movie. Um,
What's the movie going to be?
oh gosh, what's it called? Outland with Sean Connery from 1981, where he goes to Jupiter and like blows a bunch of people up. I don't know if I can do it, man. I tried. No.
Oh, okay.
But it's a fun movie supposedly. And then you'll find me here from time to time talking Lord of the Rings with the awesome Ms. Martin and sometimes Steve Kenobi when he's able to stay up, and hopefully Lady Toriel and Gravemaster when they can make it.
Yay.
And that's pretty much it. Thank you for having me on as always, Teresa, and thanks for being here as well, Steve.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Steve, where can we find you?
Sometimes on this channel and on OG Star Wars on Thursdays, and then Mara's channel on Wednesdays for the Cringe Factor. Sorry, Cringe Factory.
Yeah. You should know you're the one that came up with the title.
Yeah, but I didn't care.
Okay, thank you, Steve. And you can find me here on Miss Martin Muses. Also on Twitter, we have our Saturday Lord of the Rings show. The triple review, I'm not entirely sure when we're going to be able to schedule it next, but it will be the Karate Kid part 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to review all 3 of those. Also, Monday night's the double pick. The next one is going to be sitcoms, your favorite sitcoms for the double pick on Monday nights.
Ooh.
At 7 o'clock. So bring your picks also in the chat, and we will discuss them as well, especially now that I know how to star your comments and put them all in a row. Thank you to Biggles Met for that. Also, the first Thursday of every month, we have a Once Upon a Time discussion with My Nerdy Home and Biggles.net. Biggles.mets. Gosh, Biggles Mets. And second Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central, the Fantasy Tavern, the new show with myself, Lady Gravemaster, and Steeg. Our next discussion will be on the Indiana Jones, and we will defend that it is fantasy. There is fantasy in that. So everything Indiana Jones will be coming up on February the 8th. Well, once again, thank you. Can I press it there? Thank you to everyone for being here. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great day, and be certain that if your master tells you to bring oil torches and dry wood to their their dying son's bedroom, just say no. Just go somewhere else.
It puts oil on the